on his retirement. This time I'd like to introduce Courtney, who will
Let us pray. Gentle Father God, we give you thanks for the world you have made and those who live in it. Make us instruments of your peace. Strong Mother God, we give thanks for those who serve in the armed forces of this country.
accounting student. I didn't know that, Dan. We both went through the same school. After graduation, Lieutenant Commander Coogan left Memphis to VA 174 at the Naval Air Station Cecil Field, Florida, as a plane captain and a line division supervisor. In May of 1971, Lieutenant Commander Coogan was selected for the Naval Enlisted Scientific Education Program and reported to the Naval Academy Prep School in Bainbridge, Maryland. He was there for 10 weeks prior to beginning studies at Purdue University in September of 1971. In May of 1974, with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science in hand, Lieutenant Commander Coogan headed off to Officer Candidate School at the Naval Education and Training Center in Newport, Rhode Island. In August of 1974, after 10 weeks of training, Lieutenant Commander Coogan was commissioned an ensign and went on to flight training at Naval Air Station, Pensacola, Florida, where he received his Naval Flight Officer wings. He served with VF 101 for training in the F-4 Phantom II, and in September of 1976 reported for duty 31 on board USS Saratoga CV-60, where he acted as the RIO training officer, public affairs officer, the CMS custodian, power plant branch officer, and the aircraft division officer. In August of 1979, Lieutenant Commander Coogan transferred to the University of Southern California for duty as the senior officer instructor. 3 years later, he transferred once more for refresher training in the F-4 at B-71 and then reported on board USS Midway CV-41 to VF-161 as a personnel officer and assistant maintenance officer. Finally, in February of 1985, he reported to Commander Naval Base Norfolk as first the officer in charge of the Hampton Roads Correctional Custody Unit, and then for a short period of time to his present assignment as the Plans and Programs Officer, Naval Base Security Department.
Also shipmates of Dan. It's a pleasure to be here today, not because we're ready to see Dan leave, but in order to wish him well as he starts the next phase of his career and his life. I want to re-emphasize a couple things that Colonel Crockett just said about his career, because the way that Dan's career has developed and has followed on, I think tells us a lot about the kind of person that he is. He made the decision to join the Navy. He went through the years that Dan had that job. He was extremely successful across his whole career, and most specifically at CCU he did that, and that brought the enthusiasm out of the young group. Remember, he didn't sit back in the flight line. Folks from CCU who have gone out, who have done well, made a success of themselves, come back and say thanks. And so those you know about Dan, but I'm also sure that there's a large number of other people who said, well, I'm going to write him a letter, and I'm going to tell him how much I appreciate it, but they never got around to doing it. So you probably want to see a small amount of feedback personally to you, those people that you have directly helped. So let me say thank you to you for all those folks who have not taken the time and the effort to say you helped in my life to get it straightened out. We're going to hate to see him go. We're happy he's going to stay in the area. We're very happy that you could be with us today, and the family that is able to be here today. Mr. Stuckman, you have every right in the world to be tremendously proud of yourself. And we know, when I say we, the military family here, that Dan is going to be well on his way to a follow-on career, which will be every bit as distinct as what he has done here in the Navy. And we're looking forward to him keeping in touch base with us. So we make sure he does that every now and then. You too, Katie. mission and we're proud of him because we want to continue to see him succeed, because we know that he will. And Jim, if you could please, Admiral Carlson and others have a few formal words of recognition. So if you would please join me up again. I appreciate it.
United States Navy for service as set forth in the following citation. For meritorious service from February 1985 to August 1989 as officer in charge of the Hampton Roads Correctional Custody Unit, Naval Base, Norfolk, Virginia. Lieutenant Commander Coogan's exceptional professionalism and superb managerial ability were responsible for rehabilitating stray young sailors and guiding them back to the fleet. Maintaining an effective and smooth running operation, he implemented a variety of new programs designed to challenge awardees and enable them to earn privileges while also assuming responsibilities. Newly established financial planning classes, a revitalized physical fitness program, and a revamped incentive program all led to the enormous success CCU experienced during his tenure. Sound judgment, advice, and in-depth knowledge, one-time offenders are now for Commander Coogan upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the Secretary of the Navy, H.J. Burnson, Rear Admiral, United States Navy, Deputy and Chief of Staff, U.S. Atlantic Fleet, acting.
Dan, again, Admiral Carlson very much wanted to be here to present this plaque, but he is in the air flying west. Dan being an aviator, I think he can appreciate that. The Admiral's an aviator, and so he knows that he needs to be there. So, on behalf of Admiral Carlson, but also on behalf of the whole Combat Base staff, present this plaque to you. Hampton Roads Correctional Custody Unit Officer in Charge, 25 January 1985 to 27 July 1989. Naval Base Security Department and Programs Officer, 28 July 1989 to 31 January 1989. Again, congratulations.
Now, once again, it's my turn to do the honors. This is a certificate of retirement. You can sit down. And the reason we don't do that is they have to coach me. We'll get you attention like I keep it up. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America to all who shall see these presents greetings. This is to certify that Lieutenant Commander Daniel G. Coogan, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Navy on the first day of February, 1990. Signed J.M. Bordeaux, Navy name, Vice Admiral, United States Navy, Chief of Naval Personnel. One more. Certificate of appreciation from the service in the Armed Forces of the United States. I extend to you my personal thanks and the sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution to service to our country. You have helped maintain the security of the nation during a critical time in its history with a devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud tradition of the military service. I trust that in the coming years you will maintain an active interest in the armed forces and the purposes for which you serve. My best wishes to you for happiness and success in the future. Signed, George Bush, Commander-in-Chief. This time I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Oscar Huber, who will make the presentation from the junior officer.
Traditionally, the junior officers gift is a little bit lighthearted and a little bit serious, no exception. Commander and I arrived over at Combat Base Security about the same time. But along the way, he took the initiative to get to know each and every one of us over there, some of the limited duty people as well as some of the permanently assigned junior officers. And it meant a lot to us for him to be involved with us the way he was, because it took us from billets where we may not have been serving appropriately and put us in the jobs where we really had some meaning and some dedication for that thing. Additionally, I also served as part of the junior officer shuttle service, and tried to get a gift that would mean something to the commander. Unfortunately, we couldn't afford another vehicle for him, and we thought rolling to a bus tokens was inappropriate. So we got something that means a little something special to each one of us. The way the commander has meant something special to each of the junior officers assigned to Combat Base. I'd like to award you this ensign, along with a brief explanation. That flag was flown over the Combat Base Security Department, rather briefly, and it's something for you to use on special occasions. Additionally, we went to a little bit of trouble and had a special message arranged on board as you come in the main gate. Reminder to all of us of the service and integrity and devotion to duty that the commanders make. Briefly, it reads, fair winds and falling seas to Lieutenant Commander Dan Kukin, over 21 years of service, Combat Base Security, and 2 plans. With that, I'd like to say thank you, sir.
I don't think you should ever retire a sailor without full sea. We don't want to put something else in it now. For a second thing. I've known Dan, as I said, for 2.5 years. I've had the pleasure of being the deputy and the director and the deputy, so he's worked for me, with me. I don't know, sometimes maybe against me, but I don't know. No, Dan has done a superior job. He's been a friend and an associate to not only me, but to all of the department, and has done a superior job for the Navy. And the best we can do from the department is to give him one of our plaques. This says from the Naval Base Police, Lieutenant Commander Dan, please say my name right, Kukin. Thanks for the extra 6 months. Still not right.
Captain Stood, Father Crooked, Diane, Crooked.
Hey, thank you, sir.
That was a hard name to pronounce for a lot of people, but Dan is a super guy, super people. I'll make it short. Dan, you've got to open that here, and I'm going to step away and call Ito. Poor Dan, and Dan has done a super job for Combat Security Department, and I know Gene and a few other people, and Mary Sturdivant, the ADP computer people, he's recognized as Mr. Chip in the security department, and we got him a little chip here.
One word, Billy Gaff. I don't know how many people know what Billy Gaff means. If you know what it means, I don't have to tell you. If you don't know what it means, I'm not going to tell you. Not here. Yeah, I do have some remarks. I'm sorry. We got a half hour to kill the reception starts anyways. All the gifts and all the flowery words and everything wonderful. Captain Stewart, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Peter, appreciate it. But I really didn't want this retirement so everybody could say nice things about me. I really wanted a chance to say goodbye, and I wanted a chance to say thank you to an awful lot of people. First off, thank you for showing up. When I got together with my caterer and wanted to know how many people were going to be there, I said, oh, I don't know, maybe 50, 60. And so we had it in the training room down at Base Police. And, well, we topped out about, it started going over 100, then it started going over 110, then it started going over 120, and it's amazing what free food will do. So we're not going to have it at Base Police. We're going to have a reception at the North Carolina House. And for those of you who don't know where that is, Gilbert Street is the street that runs right in front of this building. If you go down Gilbert Street about 2 or 3 blocks to Farragut, make a right on Farragut, go down Farragut until it dead ends. House on the corner is the North Carolina House. It's right there. There's plenty of parking in front. It's easy to get to. Also, something you ought to know is that as a token of this momentous event, your personalized can of Vienna sausage is yours to keep after the event. I would like to make one acknowledgement about something before I start on my thank you. There are 9 gents sitting up here in the front row that I asked individually to be part of 8 side boys and 1 honors motion. And I guess about 3 of the side boys, when I asked them if they would be my side boys, they said, oh, you're going to have enlisted side boys? And that kind of surprised me when they asked me that. When you're a career guy, every now and then, you kind of sit back in the chair and you think about the day you retire and you wonder what it's going to be like. And I did that too. And every time I did that, I thought about my side boys, and my side boys were always going to be enlisted. I never thought about anything else. And the reason is because that's where I come from. I was enlisted for 6 years. I'm extremely proud of that. I will always be proud of that. And while the medal that was pinned on my chest today means a lot, and I appreciate the time and effort that went into formulating all that, the medal I am most proud of and will be most proud of for the rest of my life is that one right there, the Navy Good Conduct Medal. Because only enlisted guys get the Good Conduct Medal. Only. And I think it's a real mark of distinction, and it's something I'll take with me today. But the gents sitting up here represent a body of people without whom the Navy would fall flat on its face. The Navy enlisted guy does sometimes an almost impossible job under incredibly trying circumstances. All you have to do is go up on a Navy flight deck during flight ops and watch him work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, in all kinds of weather, day and night, amid aircraft exhaust, planes shooting off the front end and landing on the back end, and realize that we've got 400 or 500 people on that flight deck, and the average age is probably about 21 or 22. To realize the dedication and the professional expertise involved, all of these guys, it's a wonder to behold. I was honored to be a part of them. I was honored to lead them. I'm honored to be in the same Navy with them. And I'd kind of like everybody to join me in a round of applause tonight in the Navy with them. As always, at a time like this, I have mixed feelings. I am not incredibly broken up about leaving the Navy. I've been in for 21 years. It's time to do something different. I'm really excited about doing that. And that something different, hopefully, will be to be a math teacher in high school in Virginia Beach. If not Virginia Beach in Norfolk, if not in Norfolk, somewhere in this area. But I am extremely sorry the Navy comes. I've made so many friends here that I really don't want to lose. And saying goodbye is just really tough, very tough. That said, I have a lot of thank yous to say, and I'm going to start off by stating a disclaimer. Every time you start saying thank yous to people, you run the risk of hurting somebody by forgetting. Please don't be hurt. If I had the time and bore everybody to death, I'd probably thank every person in the department, every person in the room. But obviously I can't do that. So I'm going to say thank you to an awful lot of people that I've worked very closely with over the last 5 years, especially over the last 6 months. First one, I have to get to do. Because I'm going to embarrass somebody. Can I go here? Sorry. security department at the same time I did, and about a month ago I said, Mary, could you please coordinate my retirement for me? And being the true sailor that she is, she said, sure. So we got her a little gift of our token. We will token of our son. We don't have to open it now if you want, but I think that's good. Thank you very much. My first thank you is to Admiral Carlson, even though he's not here. There's a couple things I'd like to say because I want to get them on the record. I had a talk with Admiral Carlson on Tuesday morning, and if you've never had a chance to sit down and talk with the Admiral, you ought to try to get the chance somehow. I mean, do something good so you can go in and talk to him. He's an absolutely dynamite gent. He really is. But I've been grateful to him for a couple of things, even though I him directly one-on-one. The first, and I got to go back a couple months. When I first got to the security department, one of the first things that I undertook was to research the Carper housing problem. And anybody who's been in Virginia Beach any length of time knows that Carper housing has been a terrible problem for a good number of years. With juvenile problems over there, and violence, and all kinds of crime. It's just not been a real good situation. And it's been in place ever since Carper housing's been around. And Carper housing's been around since 1978. And we were having a large number of problems again in August, and we were all talking about, what we could do, and basically all we did was come up with things that we couldn't do. Nobody could come up with things we could do. And I asked the colonel if he could, give me a couple of weeks to research it and really dig into it and see if I could come up with some proposed solutions for the Admiral and the point paper. And the colonel said, hey, knock yourself out, Dan. So I did. And it proved to be, I think, two of the most frustrating weeks I ever spent in the Navy. Not because the information wasn't readily available. It was. Everybody knew everything about it. I could go anywhere. They'd give me files this thick on Carper housing. What was so frustrating was that it was really obvious that after 11 years of the same problem, nobody wanted to own the problem. Nobody. The Navy didn't want to own it. Virginia Beach didn't want to own it. Carper residents didn't want to own it. Nobody wanted to own the problem. And I felt really bad about that. I felt very strongly there was a Navy problem. There were Navy people in there. And the Navy always probably taking care of its own, and I didn't think we were doing a real good job about that. So I started to put together a point paper, and as very terrible as I look at it, about 2 days before I was ready to present it to the captain, there was a shooting at Green Run, and a Carper resident was killed. Well, of course, that immediately made Carper housing front page news. And this was about, 2-3 days after the Admiral. The Admiral had just reported order. And he immediately called a meeting to which I was privileged to come. I asked the captain if I could come because I thought if there were any questions about Carper housing and history, I could probably answer them after having looked into it for 2 weeks. I didn't say anything in the meeting, I just listened. But the one thing that the Admiral said, which I had to kind of keep myself in my seat for and not jump up and go, yeah, was he turned around to everybody at the meeting and he said, I want to make one thing clear. I want everybody in this room to consider this a Navy problem. First time I've taken ownership of the problem, and the results are obvious. Hope. Motion.
ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremony.
All right, just one second. Take a shot first. Oh, I need to miss that, please.
Wait a minute, Mike. Wait, or we just go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
It's only appropriate.
Sticking out all over here. Just hold on. Here.
Come back a second. Go ahead and get work your way.
Oh, we go both. Okay, go ahead. Well, the line's over there.
Yes? Go ahead.
Right now, the attorney
We're going to, oh, we got it. I think we're going to have some extra food because there were 130 people there. You're going to have a lot of them. I will deliver it this afternoon.
Brooks in here with Cat said there's a whole bunch of receipts. Just put them face down. Just put them face down.
That'll take care of it.
Keep going.
You can even do that with your hat on, huh?
Seem right to
Look, eat and walk.
eat one, but that's what I'm going to do when I Okay, which parents? Who's whose?
Okay, my father. Okay, and Daniel's mom is sitting next to him. I see lowering his diet.
Oh, no, this is all good.
All the calories are up.
I try to figure out how we can get definitive feedback. Basically, we're going to look at basic three questions. What's a single priority? And then we're all,
Don't just whine, but come up with
tell me, yeah. And then the other thing was probably the last two Sundays in March.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we run out of seats in here, we do have the other room.
Have committee members available, probably in the library. between the services for anybody that wants to come in and specifically dump type things. And then the intent is to all of us get together that week following the last Sunday in March to basically codify everything that we've got so that in turn we can take it to liturgical Latin month. Basically, any of this all 4 weeks on anything.
Wide open. There was no advertised predisposal Best of luck to all the things.
What's up, brother?
You guys, where do you want me to cut the cake?
I didn't want you to cut.
Clever of him, wasn't it? I just want to.
Very good. Well, no, you cannot swallow. You can swallow your piece though, right? You can swallow my piece. You can't swallow my piece. No, I hate that song. Should we like lips in the background? It's too Look out, get this. Don't even mess up my mustache.
Remove the hair.
Put it in the vest pocket.
Manner. My loving wife. Does anybody else in the room have cake up their nose?
It's good cake.
Oh, it's good. It's her color.
Want to make somebody jealous? Show this to Mike.
On 1, 2, 3, swat, okay? 1, 2, 3, swat! Bon appetit.
Yeah.
I'll explain that later.
I don't understand, yes.
That's a family thing. Let you know what kind of a family we've got. Oh, hi.